What?
What's up, handsome?
Nothing, dude. What's up?
Howdy, howdy. Can I use your screen name?
Yeah, it's fine.
Cool. Chat. This is Sneaky. Sneaky. This is Chat. Um, so we were talking. Sneaky and I were talking offline. I've wanted to get a rifle for a while. I haven't had one since the Marine Corps, but you technically don't have them then, so whatever. So I asked a question this morning, what he thought about the Scar, and he started giving me shit. So we're gonna continue from there. Go ahead, buddy.
I mean, here's the thing, man. The Scar is a $3,100 rifle that doesn't do anything better than an AR-15, like than a quality AR-15 at half the price. But the problem is you live in a state that highly restricts what you can have, which I'm not going to debate the politics of it, just because, well, there's no point. Other than I think it's stupid. But
Oh, I agree.
the thing is the Scar a good rifle? Yes. Is it going to last you as many? Will you ever will you ever shoot out the barrel after replace components on it? Probably not. Are there some inherent issues with the whole system and how it's designed? And could you get a bad rifle because of just tolerance stacking and stuff like that? Sure, but bottom
So,
line is yeah, the rifle's fine. I've ran them. I ran the full auto ones when I was contracting the Scar L, which is the Scar 16, the civilian version,
mm-hmm.
and they're fine. They're a short stroke piston system, so I don't want to say it's like an AK, but it's similar to how an AK operates as far as like the piston and all that stuff goes. It's not a gas impingement piston like the AR.
So what if I wanted?
And
So here's what I want. I want like mid to long range accuracy. Like I don't want it to just be short range.
well,
And
okay. Well, what do you consider long range? Because
uh,
what I consider long range and what you consider long range are very different, probably.
I think if the
Like,
KD
let's put it this
course.
way: I consider long range anything that's over 500 yards.
Okay, cool. I want to make it. I want to be effective at 500 at least.
Okay, you will not be. You will be marginally effective at 500 with a Scar. You're an AR-15 in all reality, an AR-15 um good good match bullets or a defensive load is really only going to be good out to 200 yards.
Right, which is why.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay. So is there a model you'd recommend other than the Scar or
Well, the problem
AR-15?
is we have to then look at the list of, and I don't know if people know where you live. I don't want to like
They know
dox
I
you.
live in Maryland. That's fine.
Okay, so here's the inherent issue. Maryland bans anything that's like an AR that doesn't have what's called a heavy barrel, and a heavy barrel is considered 0.836-inch diameter or heavier, up to like 950 or 920 or something like that, 0.920. So almost an inch all the way around. It's weird rules. It's whatever. Again, not going to debate the craziness of it, but um, so it severely limits your market.
Okay.
So let's take. I'm going to take a quick look at that list real quick.
So also as of right now, I am living in Maryland, but I'm considering Texas. So
Well,
obviously
if you
not
go to
the.
Texas, dude, seriously, if you go to Texas, I know people that I can get you hooked up with a custom AR. So
Okay.
like you can basically just get whatever you want, and they will, yeah.
Yeah, I know Texas is
So
way easier. This is for as of right now. That's not
I
a
mean,
set in stone thing.
you
So
still got to go through background checks no matter where you go. I mean,
yeah.
there's still the whole 4473, and you yeah, there's all that stuff. You're still not immune from the law.
Oh, I'm
But
not trying to look at anything
yeah, no,
illegal.
I know. I'm just saying, like, a lot of people think that, but it's no matter what, if you're going through a dealer, you're filling out a 4473 or whatever. Anyway, um, honestly, like this is sort of like old. This is sort of like old song and dance, but the AR-15 platform, for lack of a better term, is the most modular, the best platform that you can buy a rifle in. There's a reason the military hasn't ditched it yet, and they're only just now really looking at going away from it. And they're only looking at going away from it because they see a lethality gap as far as caliber is concerned. Not because the 5.56, not because 5.56 is not deadly enough, but more because they found engagements in Afghanistan and Iraq and other places around the world, not just there, that you know people that our adversaries are learning that if they get close to us, we will cut them down. But if they stay far away, we have sort of a gap there where we can't really we can hit them at like 1,000, but we can't hit them past 500 with standard weapons. So it's really weird. It's actually an interesting conversation they're having right now at USASOC and some other places with U.S. Army Special Operations Command and AFSOC and all the tier one units.
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking at moving to a 6mm cartridge to sort of close that gap. But anyway, back on track. Back on track. If you're going to get a firearm in Maryland and you want it to be a rifle, most likely you just need to find an AR that's not on the list. That's basically a heavy barrel AR, or which is fine. There's nothing wrong with a heavy barrel AR in 16 inches. It's just you're going to add about 10 ounces of weight. So instead of being 6.5 pounds, it's going to be like 7.1 pounds or something like that. It's not that bad. There's just there's certain things you're going to want to look for. If you get a SCAR, it's going to be about $3,500.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you're going to want an optic because let's get real, dude. When's the last time you looked through a set of iron sights on a rifle?
The last time I had to.
Yeah, exactly. Last time you had to qual. And so the issue there is iron sights are not hard to use, but it's easier just to get a quality red dot and put the dot on the thing you want to shoot at and shoot at it.
Exactly. Yep.
That's just how it is. So you're gonna spend about $4,000 if you want a SCAR and you want a decent dot.
Okay. What about caliber? Like
5.56, nothing but 2.23 or 5.56. Period. Just stick with that.
Is there? Go ahead.
You don't want to go with any kind of like weird loadings or stuff like that, because here's the problem. And again, politics aside, with COVID, we saw a rush on ammo and components. I was smart. I reload, so I was smart enough to sort of see the writing on the wall in February, and I bought basically enough reloading components for my competition shooting and long range shooting for the next 2 years, because I sort of saw the writing on the wall, even regardless of who won the election. I saw the writing on the wall. Even if Trump would have won, we would still have a shortage. There's guaranteed. But people are now in ultra fear buying mode because they think, whether it's going to happen or not, they think there's going to be a new automatic or a new assault weapons ban, which
Mm-hmm.
there's been sort of signalings that there will be. Again, politics aside, I'm not going to debate whether it's good or bad. It's just now President Biden in '94 was a huge proponent of a assault weapons ban, and that lasted for 10 years. And the only reason that sunsetted after 10 years was because the Democratic congressional leadership that basically was also that they were Democrats in a red state. They knew they would lose their Senate seats if they made it permanent, right? Like it's that's clear cut. That's
Right.
like the truth. Period.
I want to real quick tell chat. Sneaky isn't like a Turner Diaries reading fucking dude. He's just very smart and well aware of what happens in the gun market.
Fuck all that QAnon shit and fuck all that dumb shit. Fuck all those people.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is just if you look at previous laws and what they have done, what they've tried to do, they are very targeted on this, whether it's for the right reasons or not. And so it's going to be sort of a rallying cry, especially after all the idiots that stormed the Capitol. Whether we agree with them or not, there was some violence there and there's been some issues. So it's going to be a rallying cry.
Okay. Yeah. No. It is definitely.
And to lead on to that, the biggest issue is you're going to see a shortage. You're seeing a massive shortage. The thing is, all these ammo plants, ATK, Federal, CCI Spear, Winchester, Olin Corporation, all those guys that make ammo domestically, they have been running 24/7, 365 for the last 10 years. And they were almost to the point where they were caught up and ammo prices were back down to normal. And then COVID hit, and it just wiped everything out. It wiped it out.
What is it that makes that a thing? Like, what makes it so that, like, is it resources?
So it's fear. It's the same reason why people panic buy toilet
No,
paper,
no, no.
dude.
What I mean is, why can't they? If they were doing that for 10 years,
Oh,
what stopped them from like creating 4 more plants and
we,
catching up?
because they're extremely highly regulated. And you got to realize a lot of the big plants are actually government plants that just produce overrun, Lake City here in where I live in the Midwest, and I just sort of gave away where I live. I live in the Missouri Casey Mo area. Lake City produces like almost all the ammo for the military, right? Well, they're operated by I can't remember if it's ATK or who operates them now, but they're a normal ammo company, right? So they not only produce for the military, they produce for us. Well, military contracts will always take priority. That's just
Of
how it
course,
is,
yeah.
and that's not all manufacturers, but you know they take priority. And if the military needs to fill a 600,000 round order, which 600,000 rounds sounds like a lot, but it's not if you have an entire Marine battalion shooting qual day for
Exactly.
3 weeks
Yep.
straight, you'll burn right through that with your table 1 and table 2.
Hmm.
So does the military have enough ammo to continually have World War III for the next 10 years without having to produce more? Of course. I mean, yeah, but it's one of those things you stockpile for a reason.
Yep.
The biggest issue is people are panic buying, and people are also buying to sell online at prices up. Basically, they're price gouging, which it's whatever, capitalism, baby. Um, but the big thing is right now, if you're trying to get into the gun game, it's going to be hard. For instance, what I call plinking ammo, practice ammo
Hmm.
for an AR or a SCAR, whatever you want to use. So 5.56/223, which are very much interchangeable calibers, but that's a whole different talk.
Hmm.
But 55 grain 223 used to be you could find it for about 23 cents a round, about 27 cents a round shipped for just the shitter ammo that you just want to go practice with. It's if you can find it in stock now, it's $1 a round.
Jesus, that sounds like a lot.
So you used to be able to buy 1,000 rounds. 1,000 rounds would last a normal person shooting for a year, and you'd be able to find 1,000 rounds for about $260 shipped around there, maybe 300 at the most shipped. Right now, you can't find it, and if you do find it, it's $1,000 for 1,000 rounds, and that's just crap ammo.
That sounds so fucking bad.
It's pretty bad, and the worst part is a lot of there's a lot of conspiracy theorists going, oh, these these ammo companies are trying to hold back the ammo for whatever space alien QAnon bullshit reason. It's like, no, like the president of Federal Ammunition actually made a YouTube video saying this is not what we are doing. We are running 24/7 365 to produce ammo for all of you. And he's like, no one takes precedent. We produce as much as we can to get it into your hands. And people were just bashing him, and it's ridiculous because he's a really good guy. And I mean, this is a company that produces millions of rounds a month, and it's just people think there's some grand conspiracy, and it's not. It's just people are buying everything. There were 39 million background checks this last year. 39 million.
Jesus.
There's a statistic, and I can't leak it right now, but I read up on it. There were over like 30 million, or there were like 10 million new gun owners last year.
Man, I
Like,
wonder
and
how many of those are like, because the QAnon numbers have like quadrupled or some shit since like.
actually, here, let me bring it up.
Yeah. Are you able, like, is it legal where you are to make your own ammo?
Yeah, I produce all my own ammo. It's not you can actually produce your own ammo everywhere. It's
Okay,
not
I just
illegal.
didn't want to say it. I knew
Yeah.
you did. I didn't want to say it if it wasn't.
No, it's fine. No, producing your own ammo is completely legal. So I'm sorry. So it looks like there were 5 million first time gun owners in 2020, right?
Damn.
And there was I can't find it right now, but there was a statistic that like something like a third of them were African American, and then half of those African American gun owners were women, and then another fifth of them overall were women. So you had hundreds of thousands of women buying guns, Um, and I mean, I just think it's an interesting statistic because I mean, if we get real, you know, most female, a lot of females and um a lot of African American people they lean Democratic. You know what I mean? So you have people that probably voted for Biden, and you know, which is fine, that are new gun owners now because I think they're realizing the importance of maybe taking your own security into your own hands.
Well, you know what? I can't. I don't know to what degree I can make a joke, so I'm not going to make it. But I just want people to know that I'm not smirking because women are getting guns. I just
No, it's just interesting because it's, you know, I there are a few people, and I'm not going to name them, but there are people that come to me and they're like, I want a gun, and I'm like, okay, you know, hold the phone. Why? You know, I always ask that question, why? Because I used to be a firearms trainer, and I was a cop for a little while. You know, did military contracting. I did the whole gamut of all the dumb stuff.
Mhm.
Um, but you know, people don't realize a gun's not an answer for everything. A gun is a last resort item, especially if you're considering it for self defense. And you know, my worry is, you know, people want to use it for self defense, but they don't want to train with it. They want to go shoot 6 rounds out of a revolver, call it good, and just carry it around. And you know, that's their right, but there's a lot of legal issues with that. When you have to use a gun in a defensive manner, it it changes your life, no
Yeah.
matter if you're in the right or the wrong. Like it's life changing. Even if it's a completely justified shoot, for instance, you will be in the legal system um you know, civil suits for 2 to 3 years minimum.
Mhm.
Even if you live in a state that has stand your ground laws or self defense laws, you will be in the legal system for years. And the thing is, Maryland doesn't have those laws. So
Yep.
like if you were to have to use your weapon against someone, um, you would be taken into custody. You'd be arrested even if they broke into your home, probably. Like honestly, like you got to be prepared for that mindset. Which it's not saying it's a bad thing. It's just that's just the process, man.
No, yeah, and that's something that I think people understandably think about the like self defense part first, and not the ramifications of self defense
Yeah,
after.
what if one I'll link it, or I'll send you the link.
While you do that, is there a downside to making your own ammo?
Um,
Like, is
yes,
it
it can
cost
be.
effective?
It's okay. So here's the deal: when you reload, it is not. Before 2020, if you were a reloader, it was not cost effective. It was just because you wanted to make your own ammo and you were OCD and you wanted to sort of do your own thing, and you know you wanted to you
Your
wanted
own powder
you
compositions and all
wanted
that shit.
control of your supply,
Yeah.
basically. You know, but the thing is now I can make 9mm for about 16 cents a round, and you can't even find it.
For how much?
16 cents a round is what I make 9mm for.
Damn. What do you make 5.56 for?
About 23 or 24 cents a round. So I would make it about the same price pre-pandemic, but now it's like it pays off.
Okay.
So
Okay, two questions. One, in our earlier conversation, you said defensive rounds. Would you like? Is there a difference between defensive and assault rounds, or is that just what you mean?
that's
Defense.
just there's no such thing. I mean, there's no such thing as an assault round. There's rounds that you know.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that there
Yeah.
wasn't. Like,
So
okay.
there's you have I'm gonna very much simplify this. I'm gonna very much simplify this, but you have basically two kinds of ammo. You have um stuff you kill things with and stuff you practice with, okay? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So like if I want to go shoot a deer in the woods and take a deer, you know, take wild game, I'm not going to use an FMJ round because it's going to possibly go right through that animal and not incapacitate it enough to kill it. Same idea with humans, right? Same idea. So I'm going to use something that will expand and cause a
Ricochet
large
damage inside.
shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it'll cause a lot of hydrostatic shock to actually put that down, and that's where like the FBI ballistic gelatin test comes in, and penetration depth, and all kinds of other stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, that's the biggest thing
Okay.
is round choice. So you can practice with 55 grain ammunition, like the FMJ stuff, but you want a good soft point, or you know, something that will expand and stop. And another thing too is if you're using a rifle or a handgun for self defense in your home, what else you got to worry about? You got to worry about stuff going through walls,
Yep.
right? A 55 grain FMJ bullet or a 9 millimeter FMJ will go through an entire house and not stop. Whereas a well constructed hollow point with good sectional density, or a well constructed soft point with good sectional density from a rifle will maybe penetrate one wall and then start to yaw and tumble and stop before it gets too far.
Is okay. Two things. One is, what would the cost be when you quoted that cost for creating 5.56 yourself? Was that for defensive rounds or for practice rounds, or
For
is it going to be the
practice,
same?
you should never. There are a lot of reasons why you should never make your own defensive ammo. And it can be very complicated. The biggest okay, so there's a myth going around saying that if you make your own defensive ammo, a prosecutor will take you to town, and even if it's a good shoot, blah 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 blah, they'll you'll get locked in jail because you made your own ammo. That's patently false. A good shoot is a good shoot. A bad shoot is a bad shoot. You don't if you're if the legal standard of you either going away for life or getting the chair or you staying out of jail is whether you made your ammo or not, you've already fucked up. You've already fucked up along the way,
Okay.
right? So, but on that note, you want to always buy your defensive ammo from a well-regarded source or manufacturer because you want it to be consistent and you want it to be reliable.
Okay. Yeah. No, that absolutely makes sense. Because you, as a amateur round manufacturer, are gonna make mistakes that the fucking
Yeah.
company hopefully
So
wouldn't.
here's the website. It's called Law of Self Defense. I'm not affiliated with this guy at all. I just have his book. He is like the predominant self defense expert um in the U.S. basically. His name's I think it's Andrew F. Bronca, and if you carry a gun for self defense at all, you should read his book cover to cover every fucking year. Every year, you should read that book cover to cover because it covers pretty much all self defense laws in the U.S. wherever it's at. And it's like a $30 book, and if you don't read it, you're doing yourself a disservice.
No, Occam, that isn't the guy talking. The guy's talking just knows a lot about guns, has a lot of experience. I was in the military with him, and he's recommending the book to
Yeah,
fellow
yeah.
gun owners.
Yeah, if that's the best book you can read, and then also another one is called The Gift of Fear, and it's by Gavin de Becker, and he is one of the foremost security experts in the nation, and it basically talks about that sixth sense of fear, you know, of and trusting that your gut whenever you're in a situation or something like that. Those two books are extremely important for anyone that is serious about their own safety and self defense to read.
Perfect. Real quick, I want to take this moment to just say to the chat folks, and Lynnie, you can put this at the beginning of this segment. Yeah, we're just talking about self defense. I've always wanted to have a rifle for self defense, and this is the best gun expert I know. He's one of my good friends, and so that's what this conversation is about. This has nothing to do with like, going to war or any stupid shit. Like I know we've been spending all day talking about what happened in DC. So these are
Yeah.
two like. It's related in the sense that yesterday reminded me of my need for something for self defense, but otherwise, that's just it.
Yeah. Another thing too is like so back to the original question of what rifle you should get. Honestly, we'll have to just sit down offline and we'll have to look at the list of what's allowed in Maryland and just figure it out. I have a few resources in Maryland that I know that can probably guide you a little better and maybe even custom build you a rifle that will fit the laws there, and so you won't run afoul of the law. But the biggest issue you're going to face is getting ammo and getting proper defense ammo, and really like honestly, if you're going to own a rifle, you need to go get training. I always tell people to go seek training. If you can afford a $4,000 rifle, you can go to a $400 2-day class that teaches you the fundamentals of how to use that rifle properly. I'm actually going to a class by Reston Group, Jared Reston Group in a few months here, and it's going to be a 2-day advanced carbine course. So I mean, I really recommend. I mean, if you have the money to do it, go train with well regarded trainers. It it can save your life.
Yeah, let me add on to that, folks. That again, like I said, Matt's the fucking not Matt. Sorry, I was thinking of this
Oh,
other
you're fine.
dude.
You're good.
Sneaky is the biggest gun expert I know, and
But
he's been in the military.
I'm by no means an expert. I mean, I know enough to be dangerous, and I know enough how to find and answer my questions.
He's being humble, but this dude probably knows more about guns than anyone you guys know. And despite all that, he seeks training. So even though that I was a Marine along with him, that I feel that I can handle a rifle really well with confidence. I'm right there with him, and I'm gonna take courses. It's
Yeah,
yeah, it's very important, and this is why, like, as much as I'm pro Second Amendment, and I think that it exists for a specific reason, when it comes to like the relationship between the citizenry and the government. And even though I think we're way a ways from anything like that ever needing to happen, this is why the gun reform I support is like, if you should own a gun, you should be a little more fucking tested than just, oh, I'm allowed to go buy a gun. As much as I support the Second Amendment right, I think everyone should have training if you touch a firearm.
well, I mean, that's an issue, and one thing they could have done is not take shooting sports out of high schools.
Did
I mean,
I never knew they did that. Is that
oh,
a thing?
I mean, they pretty much eliminated sponsored shooting sports throughout high schools. I mean, unless you're part of a private school or there's a private club, like, you know, back when our parents were young in the 60s and 50s, and our grandparents in the 40s, they had rifle clubs at schools where they would shoot 22s and things like that and learn marksmanship. And they
Was
don't
this
do
after
that anymore.
Columbine?
What?
Was this after Columbine?
Oh no, this was way before. This is a big, they really sort of stopped doing that in the '80s, and really in the inner city and urban and suburban areas, they stopped doing that in the '80s and '90s, and it's an issue. It's an issue because if you look at other countries that, like, I hate doing this, but if you look at some of the European countries, like, I want to say it's Sweden, or is it Switzerland? No, it's Switzerland. Everyone's conscripted at some point, and they get a sig rifle, right? And then they keep that rifle because basically they can be called up at any time, and they have different shooting sports and all kinds of stuff, and everyone sort of knows how to basically work a rifle. But we that model doesn't work in America just because we're so big. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the thing is like, we've gotten rid of the ability for people to actually handle these things and not be afraid of them. It's a tool, or it's an inanimate object like anything else. Like, so you should the being afraid of guns is sort of ridiculous. It's saying you're afraid of an inanimate object. You
I think
know,
yeah, I think it's that like natural human stupid fear, and this
It
is
is. It is.
yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not bashing people that are, quote, afraid of guns. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying, education goes a long damn way.
it does. And I mean, we can look at something a little more innocuous and something that we can't ban, which is like snakes and spiders, right? A lot of the fear of snakes and spiders is unwarranted, um, and a lot of spiders and snakes die every year because of it.
Dude, yeah, I mean, spiders. I mean, dude, to be funny, my wife always is like, there's a spider on the wall, kill it. I'm like, no. I usually pick it up and put it outside because I was like, the spider kills all the shitty bugs that we don't want in the house.
Yep, exactly,
You know,
100%.
it's
And so
just,
yeah,
yeah.
same with guns. Like people see what happens, and then they become afraid of guns, and
And the thing is, it's funny because of course, shootings are an issue, but if you look at the trend of violence in the U.S. since the '70s, our population has gone up, and our actual the level of violence has gone down. It's still trending flat or downwards. Like, that's just how it is. But so a lot of this stuff is just, it's just fork rattling for this, or pitchfork rattling for the sake of pitchfork rattling. It's a rallying cry, which I'm not gonna ever dismiss anyone that wants to be safe. That'd be ridiculous. But you know you're not getting rid of. Okay, so the population of the U.S. is a little over 300 million, like 320 million or something like that, I think.
yeah.
They estimate there's 383 million guns in the U.S. right now that have been purchased.
Oh yeah, that have been purchased. I think it's like the estimates like there's like 2.5 guns per citizen
There's
in the country.
2.5 guns per citizen, but let's be real. There's a lot of people that don't own guns, so it's probably more like, about, for gun owners, there's probably about 5 guns per person. I mean, dude, I have a safe full of hunting rifles and shotguns and all kinds of stuff. Like, you know,
Yeah,
so
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wonder if what you're talking about earlier with Sweden. I wonder if that's why Scandinavian countries make so many good weapons, because don't they provide some of the best in the world?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, sort. I mean, that's a complicated subject.
Well, I've always
That's
wanted to do the gun talks with you.
it's you know, quality is sort of like, what do you consider quality? You know, one of those things.
I guess I would say that from my amateur ignorant side, the prevalence of it, like it just seems that everything is made in like Sweden or Switzerland or some shit, or Norway. Like, isn't Sig
Yes and
Sauer
no. I mean,
Swedish?
no. Sig's actually made in Exeter, New Hampshire. They were previously made in Germany.
Okay,
Sig's a German company.
okay.
I actually have a few West German Sigs that are marked West Germany.
No shit.
Yeah, they're like super old Sig handguns that are marked West German, which is it's really neat because that's, I mean, one of them was produced when it was East and West Germany.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, are those worth something extra because of that?
Yeah, I have a couple handguns that are worth in the thousands. Like I have a Dan Wesson 357 Magnum revolver that, my father-in-law bought um for like $600 from a pawn shop, and it's worth probably $3,500 right now in the current condition it's in.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Damn, Daniel.
So yeah. I mean, I have a couple collectible things that, I just sort of hang around with.
That's pretty
But
sweet. Well, hey man, I really appreciate you coming on and chatting with that. We'll have to have our offline chat and figure out what we want to.
yeah, and if anyone has any questions, you can always shoot them to me, and I'm always down to talk about guns and stuff. So,
All right,
you know,
here's one. If you want to do a little bit of a political one, you can dip out if you don't want to.
okay, that's fine.
But I see a chat a little bit. I'm following it lightly, so I apologize, guys, if I miss it. But like they're talking about American gun culture and obsession. And
Uh-huh.
with regards to gun culture, I think my answer would be, why are Americans obsessed with guns? I think it would be the fact that we have, from our inception, understood that a well armed populace is an excellent check against tyrannical government. And so while we are very far away from it, the idea that just because the government has nukes and drones and whatever, that the American people can't do anything, therefore we should forfeit our guns for that reason, is absurd. And
You know, it's a hard conversation to have because you got to look at it this way. And there's someone named Omer in chat that I'm sort of following, and I want to touch on something that he said real quick. That it said, studies show when you have a gun in a situation that requires you to defend yourself, increase the harm you will suffer. You are not wrong there. And that is due to a lot of times lack of training or a lack of de-escalation. So I wanted to point that out, that, I think a lot of people were probably ragging on him about, studies showing that if you have a gun, there can be more harm. Well, yes, but there are also, no, and Felk, he's absolutely correct in his base statement, but there are a lot of other factors that really go into that, to include training, and there a lot of times too, just the presence of a firearm has been proven to deter someone. Like, a lot of times the only things that are recorded are if a justifiable homicide has occurred, correct?
I think
So
so.
that's the only thing that's recorded. Well, a lot of times what's not recorded is the gun is drawn, and so it's not recorded as anything. It's recorded as a defensive measure of some sorts, and that's all in the FBI UCR, the Uniform Crime Report. It's got all those statistics. But it's very interesting because there's a lot of stuff there that, and my big thing is like, I don't only carry a gun. I carry a knife, and I also carry OC spray. I carry pepper spray.
Hmm.
You know, I'd rather pepper spray someone and make them hurt a little bit and have them get the fuck away from me than fucking shoot someone. I don't want to shoot anybody. Fuck that. That sucks. I don't want to do that. You
Yeah.
know.
No
But
one wants. No one
but
should want to shoot someone.
yeah. But anyway, back to your question with the whole, the government has drones, the government has this, government has that. Okay, so the thing is like, yeah, the government might have all that shit, but who's going to be piloting and driving all that shit? You think those people want to kill their brothers and sisters? I doubt it.
Yeah.
Um,
No, that's going to be always like
you
again.
know,
theorizing. We're not actually like that's not what the point of this conversation was. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
really interesting to think how the military would split when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I would tell you that I think if there was an actual any sort of insurrection to overthrow the government, which I don't think there will be, and I'm not advocating for that at all because I think it's ridiculous. I mean, as much as I don't like necessarily what's going on right now. It's there needs to be no overthrow. Biden's the president. Period. Just how it is. Um, I don't see people taking up arms with the government to suppress the population. Um,
Agreed.
because here's the thing: all it takes is a few hundred troops dying, and the deserting starts. We won the Revolutionary War with guerrilla tactics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's sort of what we do. Like look at any actual war we fought, and I'm not talking of the mess that is Iraq and Afghanistan because those are just that's bullshit. But if you look at World War II and you look at how Americans fought, we didn't use our standard tactics that we wrote down. We used basically ad hoc guerrilla tactics to accomplish the mission. And we dropped giant fucking bombs in Japan. So
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick, that wasn't an insensitive laugh towards
no, yeah, you're
the
good.
death of Japan. I gotta clarify for the video, so it's more just like one of those like kind of laughs. Yeah, no, and I mean I like to point to Afghanistan a lot. Like the Afghans, like we gave them a few bits of really good technology, but we saw what that little bit of good technology can do.
Here's the thing, man. The Afghanistan stopped fucking Alexander the Great.
Yep.
One of the largest armies at the time. They stopped the British. They stopped the Russians with our help.
Yeah.
And they've pushed our shit in, whether people want to believe it or not.
Yep.
Like, you can't fight a population that doesn't want you there. And it's the same theoretical concept with us, except we are way better armed than those guys as far as civilians go.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, what Mother Trucker said is exactly right. Afghanistan, the graveyard of empires, 110%, man. Good Lord. I mean, it is. So, but yeah, we'll talk offline about what you want. If you end up moving to Texas, I know a few very well-regarded manufacturers down there that we can basically just walk into the shop and get you whatever you want built to your spec. So.
Sounds good to me, dude. Hey, you playing Call of Duty at all anymore?
I'm big on Escape from Tarkov now. I've been playing the hell out of that.
I don't have the patience for that.
Oh, I do.
All right, man. Well, hey, we're gonna hop off and see Pelosi speak, but I really appreciate you coming on, and we should do this again. Talk shit about guns. A lot of people in chat seem interested.
Anytime you want to. I mean, if we want to do specific segments on different things, I can do some research and bring some material, and maybe do a tabletop on some stuff.
That'd be sick. Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, I'll give you a call offline later.
All right. I'll see you later.
Later, brother.
Bye.
My name is Lucky, and please subscribe to my channel, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. I need your subs and I need your support so I can grow my shit bigger. Please, oh please, I don't need donations, just need your follows and adorations. Please, 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 like, subscribe, and follow.